Next expansion up is the Void Pack. Again, following the standard for expansion content established with the others. You've got a deck of cards with 10 gift cards, new items and abilities, 2 Legion cards, Pandemonium and Styx, and 48 Trooper cards, which I believe is the most yet introduced in any of the expansions. You have 3 Region cards, one for Space, one for Texas, and the United States. You've got 2 new heroes, Dorothy Hall and Moose Kowalski, 3 Fourth Circle demons, the Mandrake, the Magdalene, and the Secular, and 2 Demon Lords, Lord Tarask and Lady Steno. So let's go over, get it open. All right away we see the Fourth Circle data sheets for the Fourth Circle demons. You have the Mandrake, which is a demon sitting on a throne, kind of spawning some humanoid minions from underneath the throne. Instantly adds troopers to every space on the map, and what that does would resolve any invasion tokens in the process. So a lot of demons being thrown on the map, which of course is bad if you run out of a certain kind. You'd be increasing in Doom. Troopers also attack heroes as long as he's alive, so it's a pretty tough one. The Magdalene, I mean, this is gross. Just take a look at it. Instantly spawns 1 larvae in its area, and any hit scored against it must target the larvae in her area over the Magdalene. So that's pretty mean as well. And the Secular. So this is kind of a gladiator-looking demon. Think Spartacus fighting for the bad guys. Instantly kills off 1 trooper in each area, and damage he inflicts cannot be absorbed by troopers. So you have to be rethinking your strategies with this one. 2 Lord sheets. You have Lord Tarask, which is a nice mini, another mythological creature, this one from France. Instantly sets every hero on fire with its menace. Any attacks that inflict 2 or more damage cause the hero to take 1 as well. So you have the option, though, of keeping that damage down to 1 in order to avoid damaging yourself. So I can see some situations where that may or may not be your choice. And the second Lord in the set is Lady Steno. Very impressive mini. Much like the Baphomet, Steno gets off an attack instantly. An immediate attack of with 68, so nothing to sneer at. Retreating causes you to lose 1 toughness. Ouch. So this is mitigated by having the same toughness as the attacking hero, which is usually quite low. And it has a lot of health. Now, for each of her attacks that fails, the hero gains 1 toughness. So if you're not taking damage, you are taking toughness. The problem is the attacks targeting Steno afterwards would have the same toughness, and if you do hit 12, you turn to stone, you get fossilized and die. So I really like the way that this is kind of crowding you in, both with your toughness and your damage. Very interesting mechanic there. Characters here, Dorothy Hall is the farm girl, and she helps out the group, adds courage to up to 2 other heroes in the team phase. Abilities allow for the transfer of incoming damage to go to other heroes, which is pretty cool. There have been numerous situations where I found that would have been helpful, so it's good to have a character that has that ability. Moose Kowalski, essentially a tank. Gets a very affordable at 4 courage starting ability, which is the charge. So if you move and then attack, you can add an extra D10 to go with his D6 as a good starting attack. The overconfident flaw is not so great though. Move the despair marker 1 extra space during each despair segment. So a good tank with a notable flaw there. Data sheet for the new map here. You've got the launch site and moon base, each with their own rules. Launch site scores 1 doom in each Lord phase, and the moon base astronaut troopers can be moved around for 1 courage. So you can think floating through space, getting from one area to the other. And speaking of the map, let's take a look at it. This is, in my opinion, first-rate map design. I really like the way this one turned out, and you'll see that in a second here once I get it open. So this would be the launch site. Circular map with a hexagon in the middle, Lord's area, and you've got all your movement going around the map here, etc. When you're done with this, and whatever needed to launch off to the moon to take the battle up there, got quite a different layout to it, and I really like the way that this was done. So it's not simply a matter of just flipping it over and having the same shape, but rather you have this kind of semicircular arrangement with the moon base being in the middle. This is the Lord's area. You've got your start on either end, and there's a rail gun here and whatnot. So really interesting map layout. I like it. I think it was very creative and adds a lot to an already growing number of choices you have with the map. So I like that. Drag the box back over. Now, I just want to say that in terms of all of the expansions, this one I found to be my favorite, just with the design of the demons that are in it. I think I like them the most out of all of them, the inclusion of all of these, right? So that being said, let's take a look at the Mandrake here. As I mentioned before, it's kind of got these demons popping out from underneath this throne, and I think it's done very well. You've got this giant mouth on the back with a tongue coming out, arms pointing in both directions, so that the idea you can't sneak up on this thing. But I think this is a really interesting look. Pulling up the robe with these humanoids coming out. I think it works, and I really like the look of this one. So that is the Mandrake. The next one is the Magdalene. Now, as I mentioned before, this is probably one of the grossest ones. I mean, at least for me, in my opinion. We can take a look at this one here. The faces with tentacles coming out of the mouths, which are coming out of these breasts as it's holding up a part of it, and I don't know. It's just, as you can see, it's very, very frightening looking thing, and I think it's fearsome looking, so it works. If that was the design behind it, it works. The Secutor, this one here, the Kirk Douglas of the set. I really like how the arms look here. These long arms, the gladiatory looking thing. You can see those shields on the arms. Very, very strong looking, tough looking demon to come up against. And I think again, this one works. In terms of the design that it has. Lord Tarask here. This is kind of a dragon horse thing covered in tattered flesh. I like how it works. You can take a look at that. Very, very menacing looking, frightening. Setting everything on fire as it comes in. Has hands and hooves. Interesting. Last here for the minis, Lady Steno. I really like all of the hands coming out, the giant arms, and again that kind of bug face that we had with the Lady Stroma, with another face coming out and then another kind of mouth thing coming out from there. So that's really good. I like that. Really solid entry. So again, all of these minis are really good. You have your cards in the set, and then the heroes, the two new heroes in the set. First, you have Dorothy Hall here, and appears to be on the move, firing an automatic pistol or submachine gun here. She looks like she's ready for battle. I like the attack pose with the cape flying in the background. Really gives you a sense of movement and urgency. And then Moose Kowalski. This guy looks like he's ready for business, ready to take on all comers. He's got looks like some decent firepower up there, and I like the stop sign on the back there. So another interesting character, a good tank to have. Can't have too many of them, and I like the balance of characters in this one. So there you have it, a solid entry into the game from the looks of it. And let's get to opening up the last one, the Pack of the Pit. Thanks for watching.